Traversing a binary search tree. In the previous video, we defined the word traverse to mean visit each node in a binary search tree in a specific order. In this video, we're going to discuss the three different kinds of traversals. The first one being the in-order traversal. In an in-order traversal, you visit the left subtree first, then you visit the root, then you visit the right subtree. Now, notice the keyword that I used here, visit. Visit, like we said in the last video, means to do something significant at a node, such as print it, or increment it, or modify it, so on and so forth. The reason I emphasize this word is because every traversal, each traversal we're going to discuss, they all start at the root. But just because a traversal starts at the root does not mean it visits the root first. All right? Anything you do in a binary search tree will always start at the root, because just as a linked list only keeps reference to the head of its list, a binary search tree only keeps reference to the root. So anything we do in a binary search tree will always start at the root. But that does not mean we're going to visit the root first. We're not going to do anything there. We're just going to start there. So traversal says, first visit the left subtree. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the left. All right, but then before we visit 28, we need to visit 28's left subtree. Then before we do anything at 18, we need to visit 18's left subtree. Now we're at 12. 12 has a leaf. 12 has no left subtree. So now the next step is to visit the root, which in this case is 12. 12 is the root of its own subtree. So we visit 12. 12 is thus the first node that gets visited in the entire tree. The next step is to visit the right subtree. 12 is a leaf. 12 has no right subtree. So now the traversal at 12 is now complete. And we work our way back up. Now we're at 18. We have visited 18's left subtree. Next step is to visit the root, which is 18. 18 is the root of its own subtree. So 18 will be the second node that gets visited in this tree. Next, we visit the right subtree. So we go to the right. Now we're at 24. Next, first step, visit the left subtree. 24 has no left subtree. Next step, visit the root. So 24, which is the root of its own subtree, gets visited. Thus 24 is the third node to get visited in this tree. Then we look at the right subtree. 24 has no right subtree. So we're done at 24. We go back up. We're back at 18. We've visited 18's left subtree. We have visited 18 itself. And we have visited 18's right subtree. So now we're done with 18. We go back up. Now we're at 28. We have visited 28's entire left subtree. Next step is to visit the root, which is 28. So we visited. 28 is the fourth node to get visited. Now we go to its right subtree. Then for 41, before we visit 41, we need to go to 41's left subtree. 35 is a leaf. So again, nothing to do there. We visited. It has no left, it has no right. So we're done at 35. Come back up. We're back at 41. We have visited 41's left subtree. Now we can visit 41 itself, the root. Now we go to 41's right subtree. 44 is a leaf. We visit it. Then we're done with 44. We work our way back up. 41, we've visited the left subtree. We have visited 41's right subtree. And we have visited 41 itself. So now we work our way back up. Same with 28. We have visited 28's left subtree. We have visited 28 itself. And we have visited 28's right subtree. So now we go back up. Now we're at 50. We have visited 50's entire left subtree. Now we can visit the root, right, which in this case is 50, the root of the entire tree. The root is the 8th node that gets evaluated in this process, that gets visited in this process. Now that we have visited the root, we're now going to go to the right. We're at 74. Before we can visit 74, we must visit 74's left subtree. And before we can visit 62, we must visit 62's left subtree. Now we're at 55. 55 has no left subtree, so we can visit 55. 55 has no right subtree, so we're done. We come back up. We have visited 62's left subtree. Now we can visit 62. Then we can visit 62's right subtree. We're at 69. 69 has no left subtree. So we visit 69. It has no right subtree. So now we come back up to 62. 62, we've evaluated its left subtree, 62 itself, and its right subtree. So we come back up. Now we're at 74. 74's left subtree is complete. Now we can visit 74. Then we can visit 74's right subtree. Before we can visit 83, we must visit 83's left subtree. 80 has no left subtree. So the next step is to visit 80 itself. 80 has no right subtree, so now we're done with 80. We come back up. Now that we have completed 83's left subtree, we can visit the number 83 itself, followed by the right subtree at 89. 89 has no children, so we're done at 89. We come back up. 83's left subtree is completed. 83 is completed, and the right subtree is completed. We come back up. 74's left subtree has been visited. 74 itself has been visited. And the right subtree has been visited. So we come back up. And likewise, the root's left subtree has been visited. The root has been visited. And the entire right subtree of 50 has been visited. Thus, the entire in-order traversal is complete. And below each node is the number. It's specifying the order in which each node was visited. The next traversal is called the pre-order traversal. In the pre-order traversal, you visit the root first, then you visit the left subtree, then you visit the right subtree. So, like with any traversal, we start at the root, then the first step is to visit the root. So in this case, 50, then the root at the top is the first node to get visited. Next, pre-order says to visit the left subtree. So we go on to 28. All right, now we're at 28. We repeat this process, the recursive process. First step, visit the root, which is 28 in this case. So 28 gets visited. Next, we visit the left subtree again. Now we're at 18. 18 is the root of its own subtree. So 18 gets visited. Next, we visit 18's left subtree. And once again, 12 is the root of its own subtree, thus it gets visited first. Next step, go left, 12 has no left. Next step, go right, 12 has no right. So we're done with 12, we come back up. So we're back at 18, we have visited 18, we have visited its left subtree. The next step, or final step, is to visit its right subtree. So 24 gets visited. 24 has no left, it has no right, so we're done with 24, we come back up. We've visited 18, we have visited the left, we have visited the right, so we're finished. We come back up. We're at 28, we have visited 28, we have visited its left, so now it's time to visit its right. 41 is the root of its subtree, so 41 gets visited. Next, we visit 41's left subtree, which is 35. 35 gets visited. It has no children, so we come back up. Now we visit 41's right subtree, which is 44. 44 has no children, we come back up. The entire subtree at 41 has been visited, so we're done with that. We come back up. The entire subtree rooted at 28 has been visited, so we're done with that. We come back up. We're back at 50, we're back at the top. We have visited 50, we have visited its left subtree. Now we must now visit its right subtree. So 74 is the root of its subtree. We visit it. Then we go to its left subtree. Now we're at 62. 62 is the root of its subtree, so it gets visited. Then we visit 62's left subtree. We're at 55. We visit it. 55 has no children, so we're done with it. We come back up. Now we visit 62's right subtree. We're at 69. We visit it. We're done with that. No children. We come back up. Now we're at 62. 62 has been visited. Its left child has been visited, and its right child has been visited. So now we're done with 62. We come back up. Now we're back at 74, which has been visited as its left subtree has been visited as well. So we go to the right. Now we're at 83. 83 We visit 83, then we go to its left subtree. 80 gets visited, has no children, come back up. Now we go to 83's right subtree. 89 gets visited, has no children, so we come right back up. 83 is now complete, so is 74, and so is 50, thus completing the pre-order traversal. Then the final traversal is called post-order traversal. This traversal is called post-order because the root gets visited last. Right? That's the root is the last node to get visited. So, as with all traversals, we start at the root, but we do not visit the root first. We visit the left subtree first. Same with 28. We do not visit 28 yet. We visit 28's left subtree first. Same with 18. Do not visit 18. Visit the left subtree first. Now we're at 12. 12 has no left subtree. It has no right subtree. Thus, all that's left to do is visit 12 itself. So 12, once again, is the first node that gets visited in this traversal. We're done with 12. We come back up. So now we're at 18. We have visited the left. Now, before we visit 18, we must now visit the right. So we're at 24. 24 has no left, it has no right. So 24 gets visited. Second. We're done with 24, we come back up. Now we're back at 18. We have visited the left subtree of 18. We have visited the right subtree of 18. So now we can finally visit 18. So we've completed the subtree rooted at 18. So we come back up. We're back at 28. We have visited the left subtree of 28. But before we can visit 28, we must now visit its right subtree. Now we're at 41. Before we can visit 41, we must visit 41's left subtree. We're at 35. 35 has no left subtree. It has no right subtree. Thus, we can visit 35. We come back up. Before we do anything to 41, we must go to the right. 44 has no left. It has no right. Thus, we can visit node 44. We're done with that. We come back up. Now we're at 41. The left has been visited. The right has been visited. So now we can visit 41. Done with that. We're back at 28. The left has been visited. The right has been visited. So now we can visit 28. So now that we're done with 28, now we can come back up to 50. But we cannot visit 50 yet. We must visit 50's right subtree first. So now we're at 74. Before we can do anything at 74, we must visit 74's left and right subtrees first. So let's start with the left. Likewise with 62, we must visit the left and right subtrees first. So let's go to the left. 55. 55 has no left and right subtree. So now all that's left is to visit 55 itself. So we've completed 55. We can now come back up. Before we visit 62, we must first go to the right, come down to 69. 69 has no left, it has no right subtree, thus we can now go ahead and visit the node 69. We're done with that, so we can come back up. 62's left subtree has been visited, its right subtree has also been visited, so now we can visit 62. And now that 62 is done, we can come back up. Now we're back at 74. 74's left has been visited. Before we visit 74, though, we must go to the right. Likewise at 83. Before we can visit 83, we must go to the left. 80 has no left subtree. It has no right subtree. Thus, we visit node 80. Right. Come back up. Before we visit 83, we must go to the right. So we go down to 89. 89 has no left. It has no right. Thus, we visit 89 next. Now that we're done with 89, we come back up. 83's left has been visited. 83's right has been visited. So now we can visit node 83. Now that we're done with that, we come back up. 74's left has been visited. 74's right has been visited. So now we can visit node 74. And now that we're done with node 74, we can come back up to the top. 50's left has been visited. 50's right has been visited. Thus we can now visit node 50. and 50 would be the last node that gets processed in this post order traversal.